Lincoln, Nebraska, where Husker hopes always spring eternal. As Nebraska gets set to kick off year 4 under Matt Rhule, the focus moves beyond bowl appearances and toward a return to conference championship contention. This is where it all begins, as we welcome you inside an exclusive look at Nebraska Cornhusker Training Camp. Welcome inside the Hawks Championship Center here on the campus of the University of Nebraska. Rick Pizzo, Jerry DiNardo getting set to watch Nebraska training camp practice. A lot to be excited about. We have impact transfers. We have new coordinators. We have Matt Rhule trying to lead that charge in year 4 and become a true Big Ten championship contender. Jerry, what are you most excited to see when the Huskers take the field?
I want to start with the defense. It's a new defense. Rob Aurich has installed the 4-2-5. You know, Matt Rhule has had several defensive coordinators, probably more than he would like. And he and I talked about it, and he said, you know, it wasn't his choice. It was their choice to leave. And he said that he really hires someone that believes in concepts of defense. He doesn't get hung up on if it's a 3-4, 4-3. The 4-2-5 that Coach Aurich is going to put in, I'm curious how it's going to match up with the Big Ten schools that run the ball. Now, some of the Big Ten schools aren't as physical as others, but some are physical. And so I want to see how it starts against the Nebraska offense today.
That defense did go out and fill some needs in the portal, most notably linebacker Owen Chambliss, Butkus Award watch list, and a player who is expected to be a big-time producer this year for the Black Shirts. Same can be said about Anthony Colandrea, the reigning Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year who transfers in from UNLV and will give Dana Holgorsen a dual threat at the quarterback position.
And Dana hasn't had that since he's been here, but he has not only one, he's got two, because Latif is just as good a runner. And so this is going to be something that I think Dana Holgorsen really is going to embrace, because he's going to be with some more RPOs in the game plan. He doesn't always have to depend on just pocket pass or the downhill run. So it's a great compliment, in my opinion, to how Dana Holgorsen calls the game.
I think the philosophy of Matt Rhule heading into the offseason was clear. The portal wasn't just about skilled players. They went out and wanted to find guys up front on both sides of the ball. And, Jerry, I'm fascinated to see what the offensive line is supposed to be bigger and stronger, and it's been an issue for Nebraska in years past. What do they look like?
You know, they're going to be better just because we're going to see the portal guys. And this has been a common theme throughout the tour. The biggest place I'm finding where the coaches in the Big Ten are increasing the portal is in the offensive line. I look forward to seeing what Nebraska's done with it.
Yeah, excited to see all those areas and more as we get set to spend 60 minutes with the Nebraska Cornhuskers here during training camp. Perhaps the biggest story of Nebraska's offseason was the addition of quarterback Anthony Colandrea. The well-traveled veteran replaces Dylan Raiola and offers a very different skill set to be utilized by offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen. Colandrea arrives in Lincoln after an outstanding 2025 at UNLV, where he put up impressive numbers in leading the Rebs to a 9-4 season. Anthony Colandrea, Nyziah Hunter here to represent the Husker offense. Anthony, listen, after the year you had last season, Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, you had options this summer in deciding, or I should say after the season, in deciding where you wanted to play this fall. How'd you end up in Lincoln?
Yeah, I think the main reason was Coach Rhule and Coach Hogue. I think when I came here, I fell in love with this place and the coaches, and that was really the main reason.
Nyziah, for you, team leader last year in receptions and yards, obviously something that you want to build upon. What's the next step in your growth as a football player?
Yeah, honestly, the next step for me is just being myself, you know, just trying to do what I did last season and just try to have a better season this year, you know.
Talk to me about the relationship between wide receiver and quarterback. How do you know it's working? Is there a moment where it clicks and you say to yourself, man, this guy can throw and he's throwing in a way that I can receive it where I want to catch it?
Yeah, honestly, the relationship builds off the field. Like, honestly, like when I see Anthony off the field, like every time I see him, he wants to throw every single time. So like building that relationship off the field is like the biggest thing that you need with the quarterback and the receiver. And like with Ant, he does it every single time. Like every time you see him in the locker room, it's like, let's go get catches in, or like let's build something off something that we see that we need to fix during practice.
Now, you didn't see it before we started the interview, but Nyziah is spewing nothing but truth because Anthony does just want to throw everything. Before he sat down, just took his phone and literally threw it across the room before we started the chat. You brought up Coach Holgorsen. What's been that relationship's development like for you?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. He's coached a lot of great quarterbacks. He had so much success at Houston and West Virginia. And then when I got here, he really just showed me what we were going to do on offense. So it was super cool seeing.
What's the terminology like when you transfer, when you change systems and you change offensive coordinators? How difficult is it to understand all the terminology and the language that varies from team to team?
Yeah, I really don't think it's that hard just because everyone runs the same plays. It's just different verbiage. So once you learn the verbiage, it's not that hard.
For both of you guys, and Nyziah, I'll start with you, and then Anthony, if you would follow up. What's it been like going against this defense as Rob Aurich comes in and installs this kind of the unique 4-2-5? I'm guessing it gives you guys a pretty unique look each time that you practice against it.
Yeah, honestly, it's a challenge every day. Like, we're going against the best guys and the best defense, like, every single day. So, like, every time when we come out, we just want to get better and just honestly improve from our mistakes last practice and just come out with a different type of mindset because their defense is just always going to the ball, getting to the ball. So, like, with us, we always got to capitalize on every single play.
Anthony?
Yeah, no, I think Coach Aurich does a great job at changing looks, changing his scheme to really stop us on offense. But, no, he does a great job. And also we have great players on the defense. They go make plays. So it's super cool to see them go make plays.
One of the toughest things for any defense is to stop a dual-threat quarterback. You had passing touchdowns in 13 games last year, but you had a rushing touchdown in 8 games as well. How much is that running ability part of the skill set that you utilize to keep opposing defenses on their toes?
Yeah, no, I think it's big just because you break it up with the defense because they don't know when to stop the run or the pass or the quarterback run. So I feel like it's a good variety to spread around and do.
So take me through the quarterback's progression on not a design cue run, but when the play breaks down, what's going through your mind and making the decision to take off when the right time is to do it?
Yeah, for sure. I think first down and distance, right? See the sticks. If I could go get the first down, go get it. But at the end of the day, when I get out the pocket, I'm looking to throw. And then if that's not there, go get the first down.
Certainly looks like you guys are a little bit more well-stocked roster-wise, and certainly with Anthony in the fold as well, to have a really big year at that receiver position and in that room, because that room looks as talented as it's been. What's it feel like in that room, and what are the goals that you guys are setting as receivers heading into the season?
Yeah, honestly, we got 4 good guys. Quinn, we got Quasi and Ja'Cory and me. We all want 1,000 yards each. So, honestly, we just want to go out and make plays for Ant, and when Ant scrambles, we're just looking to go score, be in that end zone and score.
All right, finally, Anthony, I know you guys have a scrimmage over the weekend. What are the goals during that scrimmage, and what are the last kind of items on your checklist that you guys really feel like you have to get crossed off before you get to week 1?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is execution, right? Just executing the red zone, executing open field, 2-minute. I think at the end of the day, we've had good practices, but we got to execute at a higher level to get ready for week 1.
Anthony Colandrea, Nyziah Hunter, we appreciate your guys' time. We wish you nothing but the best of luck this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We dive into the defensive side of the ball after the break. Thoughts from black shirt stars Owen Chambliss and Cam Lenhardt, as well as first-year DC Rob Aurich. Plus, a bit later in the show, Jerry and I sit down with the head Husker as Matt Rhule shares his expectations for the 2026 version of Big Red. Welcome back to Lincoln, where Nebraska returns nearly 70% of its total defensive production from a year ago. That number ranks second in the Big Ten and among the top 7 in all of FBS football, as black shirt returners like Andrew Marshall, Donovan Jones, Rex Guthrie, and Cam Lenhardt give new DC Rob Aurich more than enough to work with. And 2 key members of the 2026 black shirts are with us now, Cam Lenhardt, Owen Chambliss. Owen, start with some developing news. Just a few days ago, the Buckus preseason award watch list came out. You were on that list. How do you kind of deal with the expectations, whether they be internally or externally, before you head into a season?
Yeah, I have no, personal expectations other than for the expectation to win games. I think preseason lists are an accomplishment for what you did last year, and I take great pride in that. But ultimately, I'm looking forward to winning games and then winning the award at the end of the year, not being on a preseason list.
Cam, you had your best season to date in college a year ago. For you, what's the next step?
Yeah, it's just taking the leap, just continuing developing, pushing my teammates, and just challenging myself out there on the field.
You guys had a chance to get after the passer pretty well last year, but you struggled a little bit against the run. How have you addressed that so far in this camp?
Yeah, and we've just been taking pride as a defense, whether that's scheme-wise or just how we attack it mentally as an edge room. And just every day we just hone in on the small things, because that's what's going to take us to the next step, is just small things. So really just been honing in on that.
What's the adjustment been like with Coach Aurich coming in and installing that 4-2-5?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the edges, it's just like, it's been more detailed, just playing that one position, the 5 technique, just lining up and just attacking. It's simple for us. That's to be able to make us play fast. So,
Owen, for you, the communication, the relationship with the DC has to be really important. How would you describe how that has developed so far between you and Coach Aurich?
Yeah, we knew each other for the past 2 years at San Diego State, but it's just gotten stronger coming to Nebraska. Obviously, both of us being new here, and it's been extremely helpful just with communication coming through the headset and all that. It's been great.
And it's interesting, he also, of course, coached Andrew Marshall back in his days at Idaho. So there are a ton of connections there. What did that do in terms of your decision to end up here for this season?
Yeah, that was a big deal to me. I wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable in the system I was playing in for hopefully my last year in college, and I just know that Coach Aurich is going to take us a distance and get us where we need to go.
What was the view like from the outside perspective as somebody who, and I know you didn't have a chance to watch the Big Ten all the time because you were busy balling out your own on Saturdays, but to come into this league, your thoughts on the offenses that you'll ultimately face?
Yeah, we're going to play a lot of really good offenses this year. A lot of really, really, really physical offenses this year. And I think that's something that kind of pops off the tape when you're watching from across the country and the West Coast. So, I'm just excited to get out there.
I think you two are a couple of names that guys who follow Nebraska, follow college football, are aware of and expect big things from. Cam, is there anybody who has jumped off practice field so far, guys on this defensive side, that you think, as somebody who knows this team, may be ready to take that next step in 26?
Yeah, I mean, I've really been proud of Danny Odom, a freshman, young buck. He's just continued to take that leap. Anthony Jones, Cade Petshaw got in my room. Williams Nawari, a lot of guys, Riley Van Posten taking the next step. So we got a lot of guys who really just taking pride and just continue trying to get better. But those are some names that pop in my head, but we got a lot of talented guys. So.
Owen, for you, what's this vibe been like inside the locker room as you come in as quote-unquote one of the new guys to feel like inside the locker room? What does it feel like right now for this Nebraska defense?
It feels like a brotherhood. We feel connected as ever. I know Andrew Marshall said it kind of at media day, but I hang out with the D-lineman, D-line hang out with me. I hang out with the offensive guys. So we feel so connected. We feel like a brotherhood. We really feel like a family in there.
Yeah, the question, Cam, that I've been waiting to ask you basically all day is, what do you do for pizza? I mean, you and I were both born in the birthplace of pizza, Staten Island, the only place to actually go get a good slice. So when you're stuck here in Lincoln, I love being here in Lincoln. So no offense to all the culinary experts here in the greater Lincoln area. What do you do, my man?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's hard to come close to New York pizza and Staten Island pizza, but I'll settle for some Godfather's pizza, some Lincoln pizza. So Godfather's is the place to go.
Listen, I'm sure if you guys do well enough, there are plenty of Husker fans that are watching out there that maybe get you guys some delivery shipped in, Brothers Pizza to Staten Island, and some of the all-time best, because you guys would certainly deserve it. Cam Lenhardt, Owen Chambliss, we appreciate the time. Wish you guys nothing but best of luck in 2026.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you.
Rob Aurich arrives in Lincoln after 3 consecutive stops where he made dramatic improvements to existing defenses. From Bemidji State to Idaho, where he coached current Husker DB Andrew Marshall, and most recently at San Diego State, Aurich has found a way to fit all the pieces into a puzzle opposing offenses can't quite figure out. Jerry has more with the Husker first-year DC.
Coach Aurich, 4-2-5, if I'm describing that right.
Yep.
What makes that such an effective defense?
Well, you can do so many things out of it. The nickel allows you a lot of flexibility in how you're going to match personnel, but also how you're going to attack different route concepts from the offense. So what we found over the years, evolving from the 4-3 traditional quarters package to more of the 4-2-5 cover 7 bracket principles, is our ability to force the quarterback to play quarterback. And I think at the college level, when quarterbacks have to identify what you're doing post-snap, it allows for a greater opportunity for success when defending that player.
Last year, defense here at Nebraska struggled stopping the run. How do you and how have you addressed that?
Well, I think it's a mindset, number one. The way we're going to run fit, the way we're going to disrupt blocks, the way we're going to get off perimeter blocking. I think it's more of a fundamental question of how violent are we going to play on the perimeter and how stout are we going to be in the core. And what I've seen so far through the spring is our guys have kind of taken a hold of that mindset that we're not one-gap players, that we have the ability to post and escape and be a two-gap player at times. So I've been really pleased where we're at so far, but that's an area that we're focusing on every day.
6 returning starters, 7 additions from the portal. Talk about some of the guys that are having good camps.
Yeah, we have an experienced group. Whether they're experienced here at Nebraska or experienced at their previous stop, I think we have a mature group. When you look at the landscape of college football right now, it seems like the older the team, the better position you are to execute at a high level. And one thing I've been really excited about is the way the new guys, the Owen Chamblisses, the Anthony Jones, who I think are 2 of our leaders in the front 7, have kind of taken hold of those roles with our team. And even though they've only been here a few months, guys are looking at them like they've been a 2-year captain or a 3-year starter.
As you study your opponents for the seasons, specifically as you've looked at Big Ten tape, what has jumped out at you with the offenses in the Big Ten?
I think there's a little bit of a combination of the offensive coordinator's creativity and how they're going to try to find ways to put your players in conflict based on the coverage, but also what the quarterbacks are good at. And the thing about the Big Ten is there's a wide range of athletes at that quarterback position where you got to defend them differently. And so from week to week, I think the biggest change from San Diego State is how different the type of quarterback that we're seeing is each week and how dangerous they are at their primary skill set. So that's something we went to work with this summer. I like where we're sitting at now, but the work doesn't stop.
Do they challenge you with bigger formations, with bigger people perhaps than you've been defending?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's certainly more mass at the point of attack, where I think personnel matching is going to be more of our philosophy than years past. Big Ten football is Big Ten football, and that's where the big boys play.
What's left undone for the defense before you kick off the first game?
Well, I think we got to sharpen up some of the adjustments. Today we installed our goal line package, or one of our goal line packages, for the first time, and it was rusty. And that's what I love about where we're at in camp, just coming off practice 8, is now we get a chance to refine. And I think there's going to be a lot of refining until kick 1. But when we talk about the level of physicality I'm seeing, I like what we're looking at.
Great to have you in the Big Ten. And
me too.
Enjoy Nebraska.
Man, thank you.
The man who hired Aurich and now looks to make a huge Year 4 leap joins us next as Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule highlights the return of our Nebraska Training Camp Tour Show.
There it comes, jump ball in the end zone, it's caught! Touchdown, Nebraska! Jakari Barney! Oh my goodness!
That screenplay is ended before it can begin. Vincent Shavers cuts that down. That play was almost over, and instead it's a score. Luke Lindenmeyer. That play blown up in the backfield. Big ball, Hunter twisting around. Is it foot in? Yes, it is! Gymnastics at the pylon.
Big Red living up to their name here early.
While Nebraska's final win-loss record didn't improve from 2024 to 2025, there's no question the Huskers did take several positive steps. Nebraska won a pair of conference road games for the first time under Matt Rhule and saw massive gains in both offensive production and efficiency, notably a plus 18 improvement in turnover margin from Rhule's first season in 2023 to last year. Matt Rhule, kind enough to join us after a rainy late morning practice here in Lincoln. Coach, been through enough of these throughout your career that you know every training camp has a different feel, a different vibe. What has stood out so far about this one?
I think, sort of with some of the new rules, and, we did an early spring ball, because of all the transfers and really their maturity. Like today we worked not just 2 minute, easy 2 minute, get a field goal, no timeouts. We worked in the red zone 3 timeouts, have to score a touchdown. We threw 4th down throw, no time from the 20. Like things that normally I would get like the last week, as you're trying to install everything. But they've done such a good job of installing the base offense that we were able today work on 2-point plays, things that are normally a little bit later. So I think from a maturity, from a football learning standpoint, they're ahead. It makes it easier for the coaches to install and have another extra week to just kind of hopefully perfect everything.
Coach, you're coming off 2 winning seasons with some momentum. How does that momentum help you go into this year?
Well, until you accomplish everything you want to do, there's always going to be narratives of, hey, can they do this? When we first got here, was can they win a close game? Can they go to a bowl game? There's a bowl drought. So they've erased all those things. So the guys who've been here for a couple of years, they see the simple thing that we all know is, progress. You work hard, you get better, you stack wins on top of each other. So I hope there's some confidence from that, hey, we can play with anybody. We also have lost some games we don't feel like we should have lost, and so let's not waste days. Let's not waste opportunities. Let's take the football part of it really seriously. It's not necessarily just like, hey, can we block and tackle, but there's a lot of things that go into managing the clock and making good decisions. You guys are out there, we stop it. Hey, why didn't you get out of bounds here? So just, trying to have a lot of teachable moments so we can make that jump that we want to make from bowl team to CFP contender.
You look at your schedule, it's front-loaded with teams that match up with you personnel. You might be a little better than them. They might be a little better with you. And then obviously it gets tougher as you go down the road. How important is it to get a fast start when you look at that schedule?
Well, the fast starts have not really been our issue. It's really been winning in November. So, we take every team with a tremendous respect. I work for Tom Coughlin. He always would talk about humble confidence. Humble enough to prepare, confident enough to perform. And Ohio University, they lost 34-31 to Rutgers last year. Eddie George is the coach at Bowling Green. I know he does a great job. You look at North Dakota. They're in the top 10 in the FCS. The word Dakota sends a lot of shivers down a lot of people, so a lot of coaches. And so, not that we're not afraid of anyone, we respect everyone. And so I think for our guys, the team that we want to be just builds on each week and gets better and better and better. And so obviously, some teams are going to be more talented than others, be better teams than others. But we're just going to worry about us and trying to make sure we're a good team.
So is there a way to address finishing strong?
Well, I personally think a lot of it's just being a better team. At the end of the day, you play your rivalry game at the end of the year. You play, an unbelievably talented Penn State team last year. You play some of these teams, and so, we went out 2 years ago. We beat Wisconsin in November, so we can do it. We didn't do anything special. We just played really well, and so, for me, I'm a pretty simple guy. I just think football comes down to whichever team plays best, and so I just encouraging our guys, stop looking at the logo, stop listening to people say this logo's better than that logo. Let's just go play them, and if they're just that much better than us, so be it. But if we play our brand of football, we feel we have a chance at every game.
Anthony Colandrea arrives after a terrific year last season at UNLV. Why was he the right guy in the portal for this system?
Well, I think first of all, when you think about Dana, he wants to be aggressive. He wants to be explosive. And Anthony gives us that. He can extend plays. I've always said, going back to when I was the offensive coordinator for Al Golden taught me this, the first scramble of the game should be the first trick play of the game. And so he's a guy that's going to extend plays. He's going to, give a difficult time to pass rushes. And so that allows Dana now to be aggressive with the play call because Anthony can make it right. He's tremendously competitive. You can involve him in the quarterback run game. The blitzes that you see without that are a lot different than the blitzes you see with it. So you get one, 8 up and you run a speed option, you might not see it again. The guy might hit his head on the goalpost. Maybe not, but at least you're challenging people. So I think Anthony opens up everything that Dana wants to do, opens up everything for the offensive line. And, the offensive line has had to change their approach a little bit. Hey, block for 6 seconds, block for 7 seconds. You're always teaching that, but when they realize that this guy might go step up in the pocket, he might step back, he might go left, he might come back around right, you better have your hands on your guy. And so he's a fun guy to have out there. I love his demeanor. I love his competitive nature and just making sure he understands not just our offense, but situationally what we want to do is what we're doing right now.
Well, you certainly know better than me. Pretty difficult to make up for 1,821 yards from scrimmage, and that's what Emmett Johnson gave you last year. How do you address the hole that he leaves? Well,
he's a great player. He's first offensive All-American here in a long time. And so, and from everything I hear from the Chief Scouts when they come in, he's doing a great job in Kansas City. He was a great teammate. I think the thing we all have to remember is, going into last year, that was the question mark for us too, was, hey, who's going to play running back and how's he going to do? And Emmett answered that. So I expect Mekhi Nelson. I expect Isaiah Mosey. I expect Quentin Ives, returning players, all to step in and fill that void. And then Jamal Rhule came in as a true freshman and has been dynamic. And he's a smart, tough kid. He likes to play, third down back. He'll pick up blitzes. And so our live scrimmages tomorrow, you don't really know about running backs until you see it live when someone's trying to tackle them. And so we'll see how they do. And it'll probably be a little bit more of a committee approach because they all bring something different to the table.
You made a change on defense with Coach Aurich. You've made a couple since you've been here. Has that slowed the program development, changing the defenses?
No, I don't think so. We came here, we hired, obviously Phil Snow is my defensive coordinator all through my whole journey as a head coach. And so it was always great to just kind of walk in and know what we were doing, why we were doing it. He had the same ethos as me, the same belief system as me. Hired Tony White, and Tony White did a great job. I mean, the defensive turnaround was elite. And at the end of the year, he decided he wanted to go to Florida State. So that wasn't a me thing; that was a him thing, right? And I loved what we were doing in the 3-3. We were playing really good defense. So we promoted secondary coach John Butler. Stayed with that, but as we looked at it, our bodies were changing. We were recruiting different kids. We recruiting more 4-down kids. We had the Anthony Joneses in the portals. We had the Cade Petshocks, the Williams Waneries, and it was like, hey, let's go to 4-down. And so I looked out to see who was the best 4-down team we could find, 4-down defensive coordinator I could find, who was the best quarters-based guy I could find. And Rob's defense is at San Diego State and Idaho, amazing one-year turnarounds. I think, Coach, he has an amazing way of just constantly looking at his players. He's not one of those guys who's like, well, this is my defense. He looks at his players and says, how can I affect the game with this guy? And he puts them in positions. And so that's all I want, man. I'm a football nerd. I want football nerds there. I want guys who are watching tape all the time, watching CFL, high school, and coming back with ideas that fit our guys. And that's what Rob's done.
I know it's early in camp yet, but can you get a feel if you think this will be your best team?
Oh, it's definitely our best team. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, and I say that with the greatest of love and respect for the guys who have been here. It's not about the personnel. It's just, the kids who have been in the program. I think we have 21 guys who've been here for 3 years. I think they've put on 350-some pounds of muscle since they've been here, right? This is a game that's meant to be played by strong, tough men. And so, guys have been in the program. They've developed, when you walk around, the facilities are great. This weight room's great, but the strength coach is even better. The training table is great, but Kristen, our performance nutritionist, she's even better. And so the guys have been here, and I think the guys we've gotten out of the portal are guys who've come here, and, they don't want the flash, they want the football.
Hey, we can all put on weight, Matt. I just don't know at our age we're putting on the weight the right way that your guys are putting on that weight. We certainly hope that translates to success on the field. As always, appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
We're back with a fascinating coaching conversation between our resident play caller and Husker OC Dana Holgorsen. That's next on the Nebraska Training Camp Tour Show.
Speed, violent speed. Stay outside. Come on. Ready. Don't do that.
As good as any team's skilled players may be, offenses simply cannot have success without a solid offensive line. Dana Holgorsen heads into his second full season as OC with all sorts of experience up front, as Nebraska's offensive line has combined for over 8,300 snaps, more than all but 4 other units in college football. Jerry has more with Coach Holgorsen.
Coach, you've had a lot of success in your career with this offense. How do you describe the offense to the average football viewer?
Well, you start out with a hard one, Coach. I don't know what offense we run now. It's just, been just a constant change over the years, just the way I was brought up in the air raid offense is just so different than kind of where we've pivoted to, so to speak. It just goes back to 3 years ago when I got here mid-season. I had to take over what they were doing, and over the course of a year, we tweaked things, we did things different, but then we changed a whole bunch of stuff this year too, just based on a new O-line coach and a new quarterback, so that has opened up the playbook to the point to where it can do some things that, not only I've been comfortable with over the years, but what our coaches and what our players do as well. I just, every offense is different based on what your best personnel is, and we went from a non-mobile quarterback to a couple of guys that are very mobile quarterbacks, and so that changes different things that you can do. Now, I will say this to all my air raid friends out there: we still have air raid principles within the offense, and we do still want to throw that thing around a little bit.
We don't want them mad at us. That would be really bad.
Well, Leach and Mummy kicked me out of the air raid a long time ago, man. I mean, when I started running the ball at West Virginia 10 years ago, they wouldn't take my calls anymore.
You mentioned quarterbacks. Let's talk about them. Start with Anthony.
Fun, man. Just fun to be around. He's going into his 4th year. I say this about our quarterback room in general. There's not many quarterback rooms across the country that have 3 guys that have Power 4 experience, and all 3 of these guys have Power 4 experience, and so he's played a lot of ball. What I didn't know about him was how he could absorb it, how he could process it, and I've been very happy with how he absorbs it in the meeting room, how he takes it out to the field and can speak it in the huddle, can operate at a fast pace, process it, and then within the play, he processes like reads as quick as I've seen. Whether that's in the run game or whether that's in the pass game, he's just. everything's fast. The only thing I got to do is slow him down the huddle a little bit when he's like speaking to the guys. I put that GoPro on his head so I can hear what he says, because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. But been fun to coach, and looking forward to watching him play.
All right, how about TJ?
TJ going into his second year, he's a gym rat, and so last year was so good for him. I mean, how many kids with 4 years of eligibility can say that they played at UCLA, they played at Penn State, they played against Iowa, they played in a bowl game, and so he took that and has really made a lot of strides. You go back and watch a lot of his video from last year. The biggest thing with TJ is he needs to speed everything up. Everything needs to be speed. He's an athletic kid. He throws a good ball, but he's got to speed everything up. Having Anthony right there in the room has sped TJ up.
If TJ goes in the game, does much change with the game plan?
No, their skill sets are very similar, and so I don't have to reduce anything when TJ's in there. Like, whatever's on the sheet, I can call with both quarterbacks, which makes my job easier.
Looks like your offensive line's deeper. Looks like they're better. How about some of the guys that stand out in that unit?
Yeah, it starts with Justin Evans. Justin's, he's one of our team leaders. He's played 4 or 5 years here, and just old with a lot of experience. As good a center as I've ever been around. He makes things go, and individually, I think they're all just like getting better. They've all played a lot, and getting Gunnar Gatula back, who's a local kid that was hurt his first year and played in a few games, was hurt his second year, played in a few games. He's growing up, so now he's a third-year guy that's healthy. Is probably our most versatile guy that we got, Pritchett going into his second year here now, looks like he's a fifth-year guy that they should talk about on draft day, He just looks like it to me. Now, that's what they've always said about him. It hadn't always looked like it. What I look for in the coordinator perspective is just the cohesiveness of the unit, how they work together, how they get along, how they communicate with each other, and I'm very happy with that. Jeep Wade's doing an outstanding job. Lonnie Teasley, who we brought in as well as an assistant O-line coach, is doing an outstanding job. Those guys are coached well, and the cohesiveness of that room is something that's refreshing.
You've been here a while now. How do you characterize the Big Ten defenses?
I have been here a while now. It's really my third year. Shoot, I even have a loft that I walk home to with my own stuff.
You're going home now.
I'm going home now. I'm not going to a hotel, which I've done for years. But I settled in, and just really like the vibe. Coach Rhule is awesome to work for. I'm having so much fun just being the offensive coordinator. It's challenging because, like you said, these Big Ten defenses are different. And these Big Ten teams are different. It's a challenging league, and that's what I want to be a part of.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great year.
You got it. Thank you.
There's no question the biggest challenge facing Nebraska's offense in 2026 is finding a way to make up for at least a portion of what now NFL running back Emmett Johnson provided a year ago. Johnson totaled 1,821 yards from scrimmage, which was the most in more than a decade of Husker history and ranked second last year in all of FBS football. Jerry, there are plenty of ways to try and make up for the loss of production like Nebraska will deal with this year with Emmett Johnson off to the NFL. It doesn't always have to be finding another running back, because Nebraska went out and got Anthony Colandrea, a dual threat quarterback, hoping that his legs can keep defenses off balance, a little bit like Johnson did a year ago.
Well, when you say dual threat quarterback, what comes to mind is RPOs, right? Indiana won the national championship running RPOs, and RPOs is the modern day wishbone, where you're reading a secondary player, whether you give the ball or whether you pass the ball. And so when you look at both quarterbacks here at Nebraska, they're both capable and very good at the RPO game.
It's interesting that Dana Holgorsen is not thrown off by this at all, right? This is a guy who has coached a lot of ball, both as an OC and as a head coach. He's called a lot of plays. You have a very different quarterback than you had last year when you took positive steps offensively. He's not bothered at all by the change.
Yeah, he's coached every kind of quarterback there is, and that's how he has spent most of his career. He's also spent a lot of time since he's been here at Nebraska defending the term air raid, right? I mean, it used to be run aid, but now he's adjusted. But I think your first question is most important, that dual threat quarterback is, I think, exactly what Dana would like to have this time in his career.
Yeah, air raid was popular, 15, 20 years ago? Not so much anymore, though if you score 40, 50 points a game, nobody really cares what you call it. The good news, if Nebraska is able to be more successful through the air and giving Colandrea some time to throw the ball, they are as talented as they've been on the outside since Matt Rhule arrived. Nyziah Hunter is back after a career season last year. You have Jacory Barney, who is expected to have a big 2026 as well. Whether it's Latif or whether it's Colandrea, they have receivers to get the ball to in space.
And the beauty of that is you can start a game plan making the defense defend the pass, and then you run the ball, defend the run, and you throw the ball. So when you have that kind of roster and that kind of play call, it's really hard on the defense. Are they going to attack us with the pass first or the run? And then obviously you make the adjustments when you call a plays.
Injuries, to be fair, have been part of Nebraska's struggles on the offensive line. They haven't had a consistent starting five for a while. They went into the portal, and they went deep into the portal up front this year, and they feel as good about their offensive line as they felt in a while.
Yeah, I think this is my third stop, and I know I have many more, but the first three, I started at the offensive line. It's where I always start when we come on tour, because really that's where it starts in this conference. And when I got to the offensive line today early, that's the deepest it's been and looks like the most talented it's been that I can remember in the last 4 or 5 years.
When we spoke with Matt Rhule, there's no question that he pointed out some of the improvements that this team has made. When he got here, it was all about getting back to a bowl game, winning a bowl game. They've crossed off the list, winning close games, which they were unable to do in the first couple of years. He didn't bring up the improvement in turnover margin, and a lot of that goes to the offense. And since he arrived through last season, that improvement was plus 18. In 2023, they were minus 17 turnover margin. Last year, they were plus 1. To me, for them to have any kind of success with the schedule that they face this year, that has to get even better.
And he's going to have a chance for it to get better, because if you look at the first five opponents, and I asked Coach Rhule about this, they have as good, if not better, players. So those are matchup games. And then you take the fact that they've won the last 2 years. They go into the season with momentum. So the first half of the season, they will have as much talent as their opponents, and that's a way that you develop what you want to do when you start getting into the teams that have the best talent in the conference.
I would also add, isn't that a perfect setup for a new quarterback coming in, making sure you're comfortable with the system? Because you can practice all you want out here. It's different when you go live.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd say about quarterbacks, Rick, is we may not go to any other camp that has two quarterbacks that you could put in and start a game.
Yeah, Dana Holgorsen was very clear about that. Doesn't matter if it's Colandrea or Latif. We are running the same offense. The play calls will not change. We head back to the other side of the ball when our Nebraska training camp tour show continues. Jerry, on what to expect from the 2026 Blackshirts under first-year DC, Rob Aurich.
Get under, fight. Come back, too high.
There was plenty of good and bad when it came to the Blackshirt defense in 2025. The good was in the back end, where Nebraska's pass defense ranked among the nation's best. The bad was with the bigs, as opposing offenses averaged more than 175 rush yards per game against a front seven that should be deeper, more talented, and much more experienced in 2026. Of course, ultimately, Jerry, the proof will be in what the Blackshirts actually put on the field in 2026. They were really good in the back end a year ago, but they struggled up front against physical offensive lines in the Big Ten. Rob Aurich arrives. How does that change where Nebraska struggled a year ago?
Well, one thing it does, Rick, is it gives a new coordinator knowing what the issues were a year ago. So he's already adjusted his package to making sure that they could defend the run. The issue is the 4-2-5, which Aurich runs, there's not a lot of them in the Big Ten. So that is something that the offenses are going to have to change their preparation for week in and week out. The headline to this conversation, though, Rick, is there's been a lot of changes on defense here. And like Coach Rhule told us when we sat with him, it was their decision, not his. And so he's just hired guys that he thinks fit at the time with the personnel they have. And I think that's why he hired Coach Aurich.
Well, fit is an interesting topic of discussion because this 4-2-5 is really designed to defend the spread. And Rob Aurich had remarkable success with it last year at San Diego State, the year prior at Idaho. It's a different animal, isn't it, though, Jerry, when you're going up against the offensive lines that the Big Ten will present and the physicality that opposing offenses present?
Right, and there's another issue about that, too. He's going against an offense, a spread offense that not a spread. I don't want to label Nebraska's offense, but it's not a downhill pro attack, which a lot of people in the Big Ten run. So in spring and in camp, he's going against that. So he has to make the adjustment as he goes through the Big Ten Conference, how to adjust his to stop the big physical run. He didn't see it all that much where he was. He mentioned that to me, but he has studied it, and he's made the adjustments how to defend maybe a more physical offense than he's been defending the last few years.
I did think it was fascinating, Jerry, your discussion with Matt Rhule. You asked if the change, another change at D.C. has slowed the development of this program. Rhule was very emphatic, saying, oh, no, when we lost D.C.s, whether they were moving on to better jobs or just wasn't the right fit, I now have the right guy. We will wait to see if it is the right guy, but I found it fascinating that Matt truly believes that, especially in today's day and age of the transfer portal, all these changes at D.C. haven't slowed what they want to do defensively.
Right, and it also depends on the management style of the head coach, right? I mean, Matt Rhule's background is actually defense, but since he's been a head coach, I don't think he micromanages either side of the ball. So, and I think he loses a coordinator. I'm not sure he's looking for the scheme. I think he's looking for the person that believes in the same concepts of the defense.
We did have a chance to chat with Owen Chambliss earlier, the linebacker who transfers in. He is highly thought of, a guy who is on the preseason Butkus watch list, and I have a feeling he could have a monster year if he stays healthy for this Nebraska defense. Time for one final break here on the Nebraska Training Camp Tour Show. Jerry and I offer final thoughts on what we saw from the Huskers during our stay in Lincoln right after this. The 2026 season officially begins for Nebraska on Saturday, September 5th against Ohio. The Huskers appear on the Big Ten Network for the first time when they host North Dakota on September 19th. Notable conference home games include visits from Indiana, Washington, and Ohio State, while Big Red hits the road for matchups with Oregon, Illinois, and Iowa, among others. Jerry, as we wrap up our stop in Lincoln, let's start with the Nebraska offense. For most folks, the focus would be on the transfer quarterback, Anthony Colandrea, who comes in as a dual threat guy. But if you're an old OC who played offensive line, you are going to start up front, and that jumped out to you as well.
You know, you look at their offensive line this year, and I don't remember it being as deep during a camp stop, and it's because of the portal, one of the main reasons. So they look more athletic than they've been. I think the scheme really plays to their strength. So I'd say right from the start of practice, when I went to the offensive line at first, I saw a great improvement.
Colandrea expected to be a guy who will not just test defenses with his arm, but with his legs, and that's the biggest question for me because losing Emmett Johnson is a massive loss for Nebraska, one you are not going to make up with just one player. There are a lot of changes on the defensive side, most notably Rob Aurich, who comes in after a very successful campaign last year at San Diego State, brought Owen Chambliss with him. He comes in with that 4-2-5. It's another adjustment for this Husker defense to get used to.
There's no doubt. It'll be an adjustment for the rest of the Big Ten when they get into conference play. And, you know, he and I talked about, is it a physical enough defense? And he certainly thinks that he can add someone to the box. He can spill it to one of the nickel backs or the alley players. So it's well thought out. It'll be unique to most Big Ten schools as they get ready for the game plan. And it'll be really interesting to see how it does.
We watch these practices one day throughout a month of camp, but they don't occur in a vacuum. And the one that we got to see in Lincoln was the day before a scrimmage. So it does affect what's on the list for Matt Rhule to accomplish during that specific practice. And that happened while we were watching.
Absolutely. So there was no inside drill, by way of example. A tough downhill running attack against the box of the defense. We didn't see that. We didn't see a lot of 1st and 10 play it. We did see situations that they want to work on again tomorrow. Short yardage, goal line. We saw some 2-minute stuff. We saw things that you ordinarily would rep on a Thursday before a Saturday game. And so it wasn't a real physical practice, but it was a very efficient practice to get ready for the next scrimmage.
Coaches typically do not want to talk about schedules. They only want to focus on that week 1 game. Matt Rhule pointed out that Ohio nearly beat Rutgers a year ago. That is Nebraska's first game, but there's no question. Rhule made it clear starting hasn't been their issue. Finishing has been the issue. But when you look at how backloaded the slate is in 2026, this team needs to start quickly.
Yeah, I used to sleep with good schedules. I mean, I think it's really important to your season.
I don't even know what that means, but continue.
And so if you look at their first 5 games, what it means is it's matchup opponents. They may have a little bit more talent than their opponent, a little less, or the same. It's not a game that they're going to go in where the opposing team might be a program that's way ahead of theirs. They get those teams in the second half of the schedule. So I think a fast start is absolutely a necessity for this team.
Sleeping with the enemy, sleeping with the fishes, those I know. Sleeping with the schedule of Jerry DiNardo never fails to amaze me each and every time we work together. And so as we say goodbye from Lincoln and get Jerry to the airport, we remind you, coming up next on our training camp tour, a stop in Minneapolis. Hard to believe P.J. Fleck now a decade in leading the Gophers, and all he has done in the Twin Cities is win. That's exactly what Matt Rhule and the Huskers hope to do in 2026 after back-to-back winning seasons. What's the next step for the Huskers?